ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
A frightening scene unfolding as a small plane crashes shortly after taking off in Kearney Mesa. 2 men were on board. They are now in the hospital.
Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony PURA joins us live from the scene near Montgomery Field with the very latest information. Anthony.
And fire officials just updated us a short while ago. This plane crashed here on the Kyocera property on Balboa Avenue off the 163. Kyocera telling us to stay outside the gate right now, but we have been seeing fire officials go in and out of those gates. We're told the plane is behind this building here, and it crashed about 20 feet from the structure. I want to show you some video now from Sky 10. We're told 2 men were on the plane. They were taken to the hospital. They were talking, but fire officials say the concern is that they may have internal injuries that wasn't immediately visible. Now, officials tell us the single-engine plane was taking off from Montgomery Airport when it started to lose altitude. It is unclear where it was flying to. Fire officials say the plane began experiencing some kind of problem, so it looks as if the plane tried to circle around. Now, I do want to show you this video now from our 10 News breaking news tracker. They were there moments after the crash. Now, fire officials say it appeared that the plane hit 2 trees as it came down. The fire officials also say based on where the plane landed, the people on board were very lucky.
Back at Kyocera right here had a huge high voltage area. It also had a power cell area, and it also had multiple hazardous materials on the back that if that plane would have hit it, we would have had ourselves a completely different outcome than what we had today.
And back out here live, officials say there is jet fuel on the ground, and we saw hazmat teams arrive just a few minutes ago. Now, investigators from NTSB are on their way, and we will bring you more information as soon as it becomes available. We're reporting live, Anthony PURA, ABC 10 News.
Now, in the East County, just became one of the first local school districts to begin mandatory COVID-19 testing for all staff members. As our ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen found out, it's part of a detailed safety plan they're hoping will allow kids to learn in person.
It is the first week of in-person class for the Alpine Union School District, and before students begin studying for tests, it is testing of a different sort for teachers and other staff. In partnership with CAL FIRE, the pre-K to 8 district rolling out drive-through COVID-19 testing on Wednesday. District Superintendent Rich Newman.
Number of people that came out was beyond what we had expected. It was a steady flow of staff all day long.
So far, 65% of all staff, that's about 130 employees, have gotten a test, with results due back within 2 to 5 days.
We've gone one step beyond most districts.
Newman says while the state requires districts test half their staff every month, his district expects to test all of its staff every month. The drive-through testing events will be held every 2 weeks.
We want to make sure we stay open, and part of that is not just the protocols on campus.
The testing is one component of a detailed in-school learning plan, which includes plexiglass dividers for every student desk and a thorough cleaning regimen.
We had a meeting with all of our principals yesterday, and it was actually rather emotional because everyone felt like all that hard work really paid off.
As for the testing, Newman says the response from parents and staff alike has been positive.
The number one response I've heard from staff is thank you so much for getting this set up so quickly.
Newman hopes the testing will help track down asymptomatic cases and provide some peace of mind.
If our staff feels safe and healthy and taken care of, then we know they'll be able to really focus their energies on teaching and learning with our students.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
It says that each class has assigned restrooms and outdoor spaces that will help officials with tracing if an outbreak should develop. In the meantime, most of GROSSMONT Union High School students, they will return to school on Tuesday. The school is working with a blended learning model, which includes both distance learning and on-campus classes. The district says about 68% of parents requested some classroom learning. Those students were split into 4 groups that will stagger between being on campus. Each student will have their temperature checked daily. Face masks and physical distancing, they are required. 32% of GROSSMONT Union High School students will stay at home.
A huge batch of older COVID tests helped push the county's 14-day rolling average for positive cases even closer to 3%. Just 1% of all tests reported yesterday came back positive. That amounts to 171 people for a total of 45,596. The county also reported 6 additional deaths, bringing that total to 773. Nearly 9 million Californians have filed for unemployment since the pandemic began. And last week, another 230,000 people filed claims. That's a slight increase from the week before. And it may be some time before their claims are processed, as the state's Employment Development Department is about to stop processing for 2 weeks. That's to give it time to catch up on a massive number of older claims.
Now to frightening moments at Fisherman's Landing this morning. 4 crew members were found unresponsive aboard a fishing boat this morning. Police say that they may have overdosed on fentanyl. And as our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz explains, they were just an hour away from taking passengers out to sea.
Narcotics agents are investigating after 4 crew members were found unconscious from a drug overdose on the Shogun charter fishing boat. The boat was docked at the time, but police say if it was out at sea, the situation would have been much worse. Narcotics and hazmat crews sweeping the Shogun fishing boat for traces of fentanyl Thursday morning. Harbor police finding 4 crew members unconscious from a drug overdose while the ship was docked at Fisherman's Landing. First responders administered Narcan to the victims, which helps counteract opioids. But they're still investigating exactly what drugs were taken.
So if there is any fentanyl on board the vessel, the entire vessel will have to be swept, cleaned by the hazardous materials team to make sure that there's none on board, because it's very lethal in very small quantities.
According to the company's website, the Shogun has been operating sport fishing charters since 1989. Their schedule shows they had just returned from a 2-day charter with 30 people on board at 6 a.m. The anonymous 911 call came in around 9 o'clock. The boat was set to depart with a new group of 28 passengers just 1 hour later. Harbor police say other crew members were on board at the time, but no paying passengers. The Shogun website also profiles the ship's captains. It is unclear whether or not they are part of the group that overdosed. People passing by Thursday morning stressing safety should always be #1 priority on the water.
But as the captain of the vessel, it's your ultimate responsibility to maintain safety for the people on board.
People should know that when they're getting on any kind of public transportation, that they've entrusted their well-being to a competent person.
We reached out to the Shogun Charter Company, but they declined to comment. Jennifer Dela Cruz, ABC 10 News.
Police say that the men taken to the hospital, they were conscious at the time. No charges have been filed at this time.
The admiral in charge of the Navy SEALs has been replaced. Rear Admiral Colin Green led the SEALs through a tumultuous period, including the trial of Eddie Gallagher and its subsequent fallout, which then saw Navy Secretary Richard Spencer resign. Our partners at KPBS report Green has been moved to Florida, where he will now serve as Chief of Staff for U.S. Special Operations Command.
The fact that he's going to SOCOM, I think, is a statement by the Navy and by U.S. SOCOM that they want him to continue, which I think bodes well for what he has done in terms of trying to right the ship in naval special warfare.
Green was also in charge when a SEAL platoon from Iraq was recalled to San Diego on sexual assault charges. In his final email to Naval Special Warfare, Green says that, quote, he is proud of how our team has overcome adversity and faced challenges that we could not anticipate, including the lessons we've learned through our own ruthless self-assessment. Green handed over the command to his replacement during a private ceremony on Coronado 2 weeks ago.
Community groups across California just sued the state and Attorney General Javier Becerra over the use of statewide gang database. The suit argues that Becerra and the state failed to follow a 2017 law and regulate the cow gang database by the start of this year. Activists say the database is faulty and many people are listed on it without evidence of gang membership.
They have a toy that they use, that they abuse, and that's that database. Anytime they want to jump to it, go to it to get it, to harass our children, to oppress our children, that's exactly what they do. The AG has a job to do. They have a mandate. All we're telling them to do is do what's mandated.
A 2016 audit found Cow Gang was filled with errors and questionable entries. The LAPD recently stopped using it, saying that its system for listening to people on the database was, quote, haphazard at best.